Welcome back, guys. Okay, so today we're doing part 3 and the final part of the old-fashioned mead. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do the final part of it. So So where we've last left off, right? We made our mead. We did our what we call our adjuncts or our additionals. We added wild turkey right here. The wild turkey. What happened to it? Oh, we're going to talk about that too. We added wild turkey. We added wild turkey. We added Luxardo cherries, and we let it sit for a couple of weeks. So here's the thing. I sorry, I'm banging stuff around. I tried it 2 weeks after, um, and it was good. It was really good, and it was mellowing out. It wasn't hot and fiery. It was doing its thing, right? But I didn't really get the whiskey part of it. So I added the rest of the wild turkey in there. There was about 6 more ounces in there, so it got us up to our grand total of 22.5% alcohol. 22.5. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. So what we did, what I'm doing, I'm not going to show the entire process of this because it is arduous and it can make a mess and all that. We are going to rack it, which basically means take it from one vessel to the other, but we are going to rack it into the bottles. So what I've done is I went ahead or this is also called bottling. You get a bottling wand, which is a thing that you put on your auto siphon, and it has a little check valve on the bottom of it to where it will let liquid flow. As soon as you pull up, the liquid stops. It helps. A dude like me, he's trying to do it by himself, it makes it a lot easier. So what I did is I went ahead and did one bottle. Right now, it's corked, ready to go. It has been in sanitizer. Everything's been in sanitizer. So we're still being very clean with everything, even though it is to 22.5%. We're still being very clean with everything, obviously, because we're going to ingest this. We're going to ingest this as is, and I don't want there to be microbial little bugs in there. They'll die, from the alcohol content. But at the same time, I want to make sure that if I give you, whoever, a bottle of this, that you're not going to get sick from it, right? That's the main thing. You want to be as clean as possible throughout this entire thing. So what I did, I bottled all these up, and I'm going to let them sit for a little bit to dry off because they've been wet. And then I'm going to put my fancy label on it, which you can see right behind me is the blue painter's tape and a Sharpie. That's what I use. I'm sorry. I'm not high tech. I don't care. It's what's inside it that really matters, right? So anyway, speaking of what's inside it, so I added the rest of the wild turkey in there. Let's get into it. The color on it, it's still cloudy, and it might stay cloudy. It could get a little better in the glass. It will continue to age, unlike whiskey. It will continue to age in the bottle. The cork micro oxidizes, blah, blah, blah. As long as you don't put, and that's another thing, it is a biological thing because we didn't kill the yeast, right? We overpowered the yeast. So the yeast are still there. They're dead, but they're not dead in the sense of chemically dead, right? So the mead is going to change over time. And I totally forgot about that, and I will pause and we will do that right now. But anyway, not right this second, in a minute. One of the things that it's going to continue. Sorry, I lost track and now I'm back. It's going to continue to age. So mead it can be best brand new, or it could be a year old, 2 years old, depending. So I'm going to keep one bottle set aside, and maybe in 6-8 months, a year, maybe we'll come back and we'll revisit this bottle and see if it's changed, if it's better. And I'll try and link this final one with that. So on the nose, I get orange, which if you remember from the original recipe, we put an entire orange zest. We zested an orange and put all that in there. Then we squeezed the juice of that orange in there as well. I get orange. I get a honey character, which I wanted because it's a mead, right? It's not an old-fashioned cocktail. We're representing an old-fashioned cocktail, but it's not one. So you get that honey character, but it's not like that. I think I talked about this last time, that footy, where it's like it's a little stinky because of the fermentation and stuff like that. It's mellowed out very nicely. I gave myself a little bit of a pour there, didn't I? Yeah, and then there's not a whole lot else other than maybe some cherry, which obviously we use the Luxardo cherries in there. Oh man, that's really nice. That is really, really nice. I'm really happy that we added the extra wild turkey, gave it a little kick. Hopefully that stays. It is a sweeter drink. It is a sweeter drink because if you remember, we stalled because of the freeze, right? We had a little freeze issue and it killed or stalled our yeast out. Wasn't a big deal, right? It really wasn't a big deal because we were going to fortify it anyway. And then the Luxardo cherries have sweetening to them. So you have a little bit of sweetness from the mead and a little bit of sweetness from that, but it balances really, really nice. And I'm really excited and happy with it. So, man, and then on the very back end, you get that honey. It's almost like if you drizzled honey over like tart cherries. It's really good. But the wild turkey, let's try and find I mean, you can find the wild turkey, it's there. But I want to try and see if I can get some vanillins and some oak and stuff like that. Now that I took a drink, I'm sorry. And now that I take a drink, I'm getting a little bit of, I don't know what you would call it. Almost like a leather, like a leathery smell to it, like a leather bound book or something like that. Yeah, it's coming through. It's coming through. It's not hard. It's not hitting you in the face. This is wild turkey. You know what I mean? It's very subtle. It's a little. It clings like right there, and it kind of bites you. Not in a bad way, but like you know how wine sometimes the tannicness of them will kind of pucker your mouth, and it's kind of doing that to me. So it's stringent, but it also has that mouth puckering, but then it has the velvety sweetness of the cherries, and it's a really cohesive mix, I feel. And so what I'm going to do, and I'm just throwing this out there. I am willing to send samples. Okay. So I am going to pick 2 people from the comments below. And I am going to send you a sample of this and I want you to try it. Just tell me what you think. So if you would like a sample, just make sure you followed. You're following me, right? Yeah, make sure you're following and make sure you subscribe to everything that we're doing. But also, I want you to comment of a mead that you've had recently or at all. Have you had one at all? What do you think of mead? Period. And do you think a mead whiskey combination is a good thing? So just let me know in the comments. If you'd like to get a sample of this, I'd be more than happy to send one out. I'm trying to do more for my followers and my people who are watching. So if you want, you're not going to get a full bottle. You're not going to get a full bottle. I can't ship you a full bottle. It's too much money. And I can't legally do that. So where were we? Oh, I was going to pause because we are doing something else. All right. I'm sorry. I had to pause right there because I realized I wanted to do something really cool. And this is going to be an ongoing thing. I'll make a short about it or something like that in the near future. Remember how I said I wanted to keep one of these bottles for 8 months, a year, whatever, and then try it. We did something a little bit different. And I know you've seen them in the background on the shelf. I got a 1030 barrel. And guess what I put in there? Yeah, I put the mead in it. This one is a used, it's now a used oak. It had, I got a bottle of Larceny, the small batch, and I threw that in there, and I was double oaking it. There it is right there. I did pull a little sample off, and so that's why it's not a full bottle. But that, I mean, I'll just cap that up, and that'll be double oaked Larceny. That's cool. And 1030 Barrels are not a sponsor, but they do make some amazing stuff. Go check them out. They might be one day, who knows? But I didn't want to fill up a big bad mo barrel because that's a lot for a small batch to a test batch, right? Whereas this one holds enough for a 750 ml bottle, and it's going to be some oak aged mead that was once in a wheated bourbon barrel. I mean, come on, dude. That to me, and I'm gonna leave it for a while, 6-8 months at least, and I'll do a little progress report on it because I think it's going to be amazing. I really do. I think the oak character is just going to punch in there, and it's going to and then putting something else in after that, you're going to get that sweetness, which I'm hoping that sweetness does not affect it, because when you oak age things and they have sugar in them, that sugar can spoil. So you have to be very careful. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this and check it like in a month or two and see what it's at. It will impart flavor fairly quickly. It is a wet barrel. We're talking, I dumped it before I pressed record again. So, I mean, we're talking, it's super wet. So it's going to get a little bit of that bourbon influence, which I'm totally fine with. I'm totally fine with getting more bourbon influence in the mead. But the mead's going to penetrate into the wood, and it's going to suck out some of that the good woodiness that we need out of it. But this was super fun, guys. I would, it is a monetary investment, obviously. Like, you have to buy fermenters, you have to buy all the things. You can kind of do it by pouring, but like get all the equipment that you would need. They sell kits that you can get, all kinds of stuff. Try this. And like I said, I'm going to be giving away samples. So if you would like to have a little tasty, cheeky little taste of it, it's to me, it's unlike anything I've ever had. So, not that I've had everything in the world, but I've been around the block. You know, I've had a couple whiskeys, I've had a couple meads, and this to me is the best of both worlds. Is it better than whiskey? No, it's not. Is it better than a good mead? Possibly. It's sweeter. It's obviously sweeter. So some people don't like sweet meads, which is fine. It is definitely sweeter. I think it ended up at 1015, something like that, 1.015, which makes it a sweet to semi-sweet beverage. I can feel it. It's a little sticky on my hands even. But it's an amazing thing, and you guys need to try it. And I really appreciate all the support. And thank you to Bad Motivator Barrel. They're our sponsor. And Z.Smith Whiskey and Mixology. Please give them a follow. They'll be linked down below. And also Patreon. We have patreon.com/thewhiskeyshaman. If you guys want to support this show, not only this show, but my podcast and all the other things that I got going on a lot right now. I told y'all 24 is going to be a good year. It's going to be the shaman takeover year. Okay. With like taking over the hair. We're trying, man. You know, chemo screwed it up, and now it's coming in. It's coming in. We're not receding. It's just, you know, it's just slow, man. It's slow. I mean, the beard's coming in okay. You know, it's a little grayer than I thought, which is kind of weird. But anyway, but I love you guys, and if you guys want to support monetarily, Patreon is the way to go. We have 3 different tiers, and we're adding new things to it all the time. They get first dibs at samples, and the podcast goes out to them early, all sorts of things. We're going to do Zoom parties and stuff. It's going to be wild. So if you're not over there, you need to get over there. But again, thank you all very much for the support and the love and through all this. And as you know already, if you're watching this, whiskey is happening around you. Go find it. go find some whiskey. There's a distillery, there's something around you, a meadery, go find a meadery around you, and do some cool stuff. And always drink responsibly, obviously. Don't drink and drive. Don't do any of those dumb things that people do and get in trouble and ruin their lives. Please don't do any of that. But until next time, keep your spirits up.